Welcome to my podcast, my little podcast. I'm trying to do these intros whenever I have the time, doing a whole bunch of other stuff as well. As I record, this is the end of August of 2022. It is extremely hot and muggy, as it always is here in the Southeast. And just plodding along, we're heading to Labor Day. So hope to have this out on Labor Day as we speak. I have on the show three pairs of boots. They were on here before. I can't remember how long ago it was. Great husband and wife team that have another release out. So I was like, what have you been doing since then? We spoke during the pandemic. And like many of the artists who've dropped by here, this has been obviously, I've said this a zillion times. This is a pandemic inspired production here. So they dropped by. We had a great chat then. They had a great release out, but they weren't performing live like most people were. Maybe doing some of those things online, those concerts online, and people were going through PayPal, maybe doing some of that. Like a lot of artists were doing that. So they have a new album out called Mighty Love. Hope you enjoy it. Please pick it up wherever you can. 3pairsofboots.com. I think the number 3pairsofboots.com. Great music. Really, really great music. And they're trying to make headway into Nashville. So they're putting up a billboard there because it's a real great Nashville sound. So hope you enjoy. Where are you guys at this evening?
We're at home in the studio, which is, a multitasking room, of course. Somehow we managed to get the sofa bed in here as well to do all this, and still trying to figure out exactly how to get it to work right, but
Yeah,
progress.
it takes time. It does till you get it. It's like the feng shui kind of thing. You want to make sure that everything's in order and comfortable for you.
We have moved. Our studio used to be on the bottom floor of the house, and now we're up on the top floor. We have several bedrooms, and we've literally had the studio in every single bedroom, depending upon the demands of the studio. It went from kind of a small room to then we moved into the master bedroom to do live streams, and then we moved into the bedroom next to that, which is where we are now. We've been in,
Yeah, so we've tried myriad ways to, I don't know if you can hear me. We've tried many different ways to make it functional for us. And so far, this is the best configuration.
Yeah, when you got to do what's most comfortable for you, and the most. It's good for the artistic process. Definitely. That's really awesome. So, what have you all been up to? Wow, I had you. I can't even remember now. I didn't even look when you were last here. But yeah, you were definitely working through the pandemic and just recording like crazy, like a lot of other artists.
Oh, yeah, that must have been a year or a year and a half ago, something like that, Robert, right? When
Yeah, it's amazing how fast time goes on. Yeah, I have 80 some episodes now, so I can't even keep track.
amazing, good for
yeah, as
you.
we were promoting the second album, Long Rider, we were, it was like one one foot in one bucket and the other foot in the other bucket. We were, at the same time we were writing and recording this current album, which is just about to get released. And the same thing is happening right now as Mighty Love is getting released. We've been writing and recording for the last few months for the next record for next year. So we have sort of divided loyalties.
Yeah,
We still love the last record, but our favorites are always the latest song we've written, kind of thing.
yeah. Aren't they all like your babies? It's like you're just nurturing them along, and then you just move along, and you're just like, so excited about the new material, I'm sure.
Totally.
Yeah, it's I think I've gotten used to the idea that from the day you write the song to the day it gets released and everybody else can hear it, it's going to be a year and a half, and you just can't. You just have to be patient to share new songs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great feeling too when you just premiere that in front of the audience and try to get their reaction on things. It's just it's got to be a fantastic feeling. So have you been back into live performing for a while now?
We have not really done a whole lot. We did um, initially. We were performing just as a duo, and I really, really wanted to hear what it sounded like if we had an actual band. So a couple months ago, we booked a show uh, down south and hired a guy that we met through friends of a friend to play stand-up bass, and a good friend of ours played drums, and went down and played a gig with for a couple hours with a full rhythm section, which we've obviously done on record, but never really did it live, and it was fun. Um, uh, Mixed bag. Some things really worked well. Other
Yeah.
things didn't work quite as well as we hoped.
It's like if you're a comedian and you have to try out your act, so
Totally.
to speak. So we, we found like a couple of songs, at least for me, weren't translating that well. Maybe two songs to that configuration. So it just told us, okay, we need to, try that a different way. Those two songs a different way.
Or just
like-
dump them from the live
Well, I wouldn't
performance.
say that. I mean, like there were a couple songs I just thought sounded more compelling when it was just you and me, and everybody else kind of walked off and went and got a beer or something, and we were able to just do it. You and I.
One of the interesting things about that particular performance was our friend Happy Sanchez, the drummer, got to the gig like he was late, maybe 15, 20 minutes before showtime. He sets up his drums quickly and he says, "Oh, I'm hangry. Like, is there anything to eat around here?" It's like, "Oh," and his wife was with him and said, "Well, there's a pizza place, a block away." So his wife went down, got him a pizza. And during the show, Laura looks behind, looks back towards him in between songs, and there's like 3 slices of pizza on the bass drum. And he's kind of like shoving one in his mouth in between songs, First time for that,
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before.
So we've been trying to work through, how do we go out and play live? This is going to be a bridge that's going to be a little more challenging for us. I think just because it's once you start adding more musicians, you've got rehearsals, and they need to be paid, and everybody's got a schedule, and and then there's the whole booking thing, which us musicians love to do. We love to send 20 emails and never get a response to a particular club, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
So we'll see. We're trying to work it out. We're not it's the next step for us. I mean, we've got the recording thing down. We can put out records. We've got a good team working with us in terms of promoting. So the live thing is kind of the next hurdle for us. I think my preference, at least for how we're going to do it, is probably to go out with a stand-up bass player and not drums. We just want to be mobile.
Yeah, because I'm sure to schlep all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was the other thing. We hadn't played a gig with the band in a little while because of the pandemic. And the next day I was like, okay, let's see. I packed up the car at 4. We got down there around 6. We set up. We started playing at 8. Played till 10:30. Packed up the car. Got home, unloaded. It was around midnight. We had to stop and get burgers and milkshakes, of course. And it's like, okay, that was 9 hours.
Yeah, it adds up.
It does. So it's definitely a labor of love. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I'm hoping that the new record will present more opportunities for us to get out and play. So
Yeah. You've all been pretty busy. I mean, you do get some airplay. I've noticed you were doing some promotion, and it seemed to be like it was catching on in some quarters on your last release. So things are out there, and you're all on YouTube, still doing your cooking show and all that stuff as well.
The cooking show ran 2 seasons, and
Taking a little break.
yeah, we're taking a break.
Yeah.
The cooking.
Our friend Happy, who played drums with us, is a multi-talented guy, and he was for the second season. He was the first season. She was producing and filming, and then she came out from behind the camera, and we were hosting together for the second season. And Happy was doing the camera work and production, and he was doing all the editing. And he's a good friend, and he doesn't charge us. But at the end of season 2, when we did 5 episodes, we were talking about season 3, and he said, we're gonna have to work something out about this editing thing. Like, you have to get somebody to do that, because every show took me like 40 hours
Yeah.
to edit.
It's partially his own fault, because he's so highly creative that he would come up with these crazy ideas like, okay, for the enchilada episode, we're going to throw tortillas at you, or we're going to do this, this little live music video. And it was just starting to get, or we're going to do a field trip. We're going to go out to Sonoma.
Yeah.
They're getting really complicated.
He has a 1950 something, whatever it
like
is,
1954 something.
So the last episode of the cooking show, he said, let's do a field trip. We'll go out and we'll shoot like a picnic over in Sonoma County, and you can drive my 1954 car. Well, that car was really old and very funky. No power steering. We're going across the Golden Gate Bridge.
Well, it doesn't even drive like a conventional modern vehicle. Obviously, there's some tricks to driving the car itself that he didn't tell us about it in advance. So at one point, Andy had his hands on the wheels, and he just started shaking. And I thought, oh my God, are you okay? Are you having a medical thing? Like, what is this? And he said, it's the car. And it was just vibrating like crazy. And Happy was driving along with the camera, and we were also communicating by our headphones on speaker. And Andy said, Happy, something's going on with the car.
Oh no.
And Happy said, oh, it's fine, just keep going and we'll meet you, take the exit, blah, blah, blah. And so he forgot that the speakerphone was on, and he drives in front of us to get some different angles. And he says to his son, who's in the car with him in the truck, I've never seen the wheels move like that before, shake like that before. And we were just like, oh my God, we're going to die.
Yeah, I had a vision of it was the left front wheel that was shaking. I had this vision of the tire coming off in the middle of the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah, one of the worst places. It gets busy over there. I've seen it.
And it was a really interesting car, because it was right at the time that they were transitioning from stick shift to automatic. So it had a clutch, and you shifted on the steering column. But once you got it into first gear and you were going, then it turned into an automatic. Like, you didn't have to constantly switch gears, put the clutch in, whatever. It would drive like an automatic, but to get it started, you had to clutch into first gear and get the car rolling. Very strange.
Oh wow, that's unbelievable. The Golden Gate Bridge.
So we've kind of decided to just hold off on the cooking show, preferring to do a few other different things for promotion. Like one of the things that we were doing for this record, which I'm really curious about. Our manager had posted a video of her in Nashville, where she lives and works. She was shooting a video of one of her artists standing in front of a billboard promoting her single. And when I talked to her, I said, the record companies do that in Nashville? She says, oh yeah, all the time. Spotify's got a billboard up there, all year round. I said, And I went and looked it up, found a couple of billboard companies, and found one that was relatively affordable. And so we've got a couple of billboards going up in 2 weeks in Nashville promoting the new record. And apparently everybody takes the interstate in Nashville. That's how you get around.
Yeah, no neighborhoods there, that's for sure.
Right. So I was asking Aaron, so will the people who work at the publishing companies and record labels there, will they see the billboard? She said, a very good chance that they're going to see it. So by this time, with 3 albums out, and we're just about to release our 3rd video, figured we have enough content so that if we can actually attract somebody to, crack open the door and look to see like, who the hell is three pairs of boots? Like, what's that about? We might have enough to pique their interest to lead somewhere. You never know.
Oh yeah, yeah. It would definitely
I
work well.
expect nothing, and yet I'm optimistic.
Oh, I would totally be optimistic. I think Nashville would be perfect. I've heard the new release coming out Labor Day 2022. Is that correct?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, beautiful, wonderful title. Where does the title come from? That's the first big question as to Mighty Love. Is everything is just what is inspiring that title track?
Oh gosh. You know, I wasn't writing a lot, and here we were coming up on that next release, and Andy kept asking, "Do you have anything? Do you have anything?" And I just wasn't, it's not so much that I was feeling inspired, it's just that there were all these other things going on, and I guess there wasn't I didn't feel like there was that space for me. Plus, Andy was going through a super prolific period of songwriting, which is fantastic. And so, we were working on his songs, and then also our friend, who's the other lyricist who writes occasionally. She and Andy,
She wrote 3 songs.
she
Wrote
came,
lyrics for
yeah.
3 songs.
So Jen came out with, wow, 3
Yes, 3
that
songs.
we did for that one. Yeah. So
So Mighty Love was pretty late in the.
it was really
process.
late in the game. And yeah, I remember you went out for an extended period. You were doing something, and um, I had the house to myself. And I just said, "Oh, I better do something." So I started writing, and right away a little melody came out, and then the words started coming out, and it came together really fast. And as I even heard like, "Ooh, I think that there should be horns in this section," and it was such a simple song. I thought, no, this is good. It's good that it's simple. And I was thinking about George Harrison's "My Sweet Lord," because um, the lyrics could be taken that way, like a spiritual thing, like mighty love. We're all just big, balls of love, or whatever. Or it could be taken to mean, a couple experience, looking for your true love, looking for your soulmate. So that's sort of how that came along. And Andy came home, and I said, "Well, I think I might have something for you." And I played it, and "You're on board." He said, "Yeah, that'll work."
It came together pretty quickly. When she does write songs that work, they're very fully fleshed out, and I don't really have to do that much in terms of changing things around. I just have to discover all the puzzle pieces, as I usually do for all the songs, and then as we started tracking it, that's when she said, "Oh, I'm hearing horns." I'm like, "Oh, we've never worked with a horn section before." Fortunately, we have a very good. We work with 2 different mix engineers, and one of them has a good friend who does a lot of scoring, and so we went to him, and he scored the horns for us, and we blended it in, and it worked great. It was very, I was telling our mix engineer Eddie, I want kind of that sort of the band kind of Appalachia type of thing. I don't want like a big Latin bright high brass thing. I want a little more mid-range, a little more trombone kind of feel, and it worked out great. And it was interesting that we never really start out with a theme for a record, but when it came to like picking, oh, what's the title track, it just seemed like that song and the feeling of Mighty Love really spoke to the songs as a whole. So the connection between the songs and the variations on them, but Mighty Love really kind of was just the obvious title.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, good lyrics too. Yeah,
Feeling we were trying to get
Thank
across.
you. Yeah. Yeah.
So
really
there it
nice.
is. Laura wrote one song. It's a title track. I write. She's more of a quality songwriter. I'm more of a quantity songwriter. So I get my ego hurt all the time because she turns down a lot of songs.
Oh,
Oh, I bet. I bet that's gonna be really tough because you're like, yeah, I can get these things up, and then they get torn apart.
You know,
I just want the best of the best.
yeah,
that's
well,
all.
you know, as she says, she has very high standards, which is good. And told me early on when she turned the song down, and I was like, "What do you mean? You know, it's got this good part right here and this hook." And she's like, "Look, you know, high standards. If I don't love it, if I don't think it's the right thing for me, I'm gonna, you know, we're gonna sort of table it. But if you really love the song, you have to fight for it. Like if I say no and you really love the song, you have to fight for it. So, do you really love this song?" And I was like, "I do like it a lot, but I don't know if I could say I love that particular song. So, okay, let's move on." And that's kind of how we do it. It's interesting how some songs just sort of make it through, where she says, "Yeah, let's put that into final production. Let's flesh it out." And I get surprised sometimes. Songs that I don't think she's going to pick, she picks, or vice versa. So
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really interesting how that comes together. The things you expect to happen really don't, and vice versa. So that's the creative process. You have a really nice cover of Tom Petty's song. So how was that included into this mix?
Well, we had that song because we had done, weren't we doing some live stream?
we did a couple of cover tunes for some of the live stream shows.
I forget what it was exactly. Oh, I thought it was for the Porch Fest. Maybe it wasn't. But anyway, we had worked up. We thought,
We
let's,
did a John Prine song for Porch Fest.
right. We started getting into doing a couple of covers for various reasons, like that one show.
Our manager suggested, she's like,
Throw in
take
some
a cover and make it
covers.
your own,
Yeah.
which is not easy to do.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Here you do make it your own, and it's a slowed down, very poignant version of that song, which is faster, obviously. So yeah, you made it your own, definitely.
oh, thanks.
And that was the same person who
That's what we were
arranged
shooting for.
the horns on My Love, did the string arrangement for the waiting. We were practicing a few different songs, cover songs. We spent hours going through so many different songs trying to
That was challenging, trying to
figure out, well, you want to maintain the integrity of it, but yet you don't want to copy it.
You want to
wanna
make it
your own,
interesting.
but you still need the link. And
Yeah, that was challenging.
Yeah, covers can be really hard that way. And then you don't want to be a cover band. You're an original. And like if you want to see and covers, I know make the money because that connects with people. But that's always a tricky thing when you're covering somebody else.
So true.
yeah,
It is tricky.
but I love the song, and
Yeah, I love
uh,
Tom Petty.
it just seemed to work for us. So
The album starts off with a really nice opening track. It really gets you into it. So if that were to be would that be the first single? It's really nice and jumpy, very rollicking, Leap of Faith.
that was the
you.
first single, and then we followed up with because I think there's 3 songs out, maybe 4 songs out now. I can't remember what the second song was that we released.
Oh, after Leap of Faith? Oh my gosh, this is embarrassing. What was the second
I know
song?
Sweet Spot was the third song, and then we just had a premiere for Just Call 'Em Love,
Right.
and the second song on the
Oh,
record.
dear me.
I don't know, my mind's drawing a blank. Which one is it? Anyway,
Give up.
Wouldn't be your
Leap of Faith
closer.
White
closer.
Leap of Faith was the first one.
Embarrassed.
Was the first single off of it. So it's always difficult to, when you're asked, okay, well, which songs do you want to release, ahead of time, one, because you release, 2 or 3, and it's always, well, you kind of love them all, so it's hard to know which ones to pick.
Yeah, a lot of people think the artists have so much control over this, the traditional legacy type artists, but they're like, no, I don't pick these singles. It's like some A&R person, just they decide what's going to go out there.
Actually, it's funny that we drew a blank. The second single was Mighty Love. So we released Leap of Faith, then Mighty Love, then Sweet Spot. and we just had a premiere for Just Call 'Em Love, and now the album's coming out. Fortunately, we don't have anybody telling us what to do, since we're on essentially our own label, and doing. I mean, we're effectively our own record label, doing all the things that record labels do.
But you do send it out. You send the songs out to trusted.
We do have an
The inner circle. Yeah, and to get a consensus going.
Yeah. So when the record was finished, I did send it out. We've got 3 or 4 people that we seek opinions from, close friends who are, one's an A&R guy, one's a really good mix engineer. We actually sent it to a couple of our mix engineers and management, and just, okay, we're thinking about these 3 songs, for releasing prior to the record. What do you guys think? Like, which ones, do you want to do? And then we were shooting 2 videos. We've already done one, and we're going to shoot the next one in a month. And for both of the video directors, I just told them, you tell me which song you want to shoot a video to. It wasn't like we have this song as a single. Like, no, it's like, which one strikes you?
We're too in it, too inside of it to maybe have.
Are these concept type videos or just performance videos?
They are.
They're both going to be performance.
They're both.
They're not narrative. We're not trying to tell the story. We want to let people figure that out on their own.
Yeah, these are very descriptive type songs. I could see Just Call 'Em Love. And, let me picture what you're describing there. It's really great. And, to do a video to it, then somebody's attaching those images to your song. And that's always the problem I had with those concept type videos.
Oh, yeah. I think that they're tough to do well. We finished one for Sweet Spot, and a director who we worked with in the past just had a great idea. Very simple. We shot it in an industrial space that's usually a dance theater, and I play electric and acoustic and banjo, and Laura's just sitting in the center, and I'm surrounding her in 3 different outfits, playing 3 different instruments. So I'm changing clothes constantly. And he shot it using 3 different camera treatments, kind of like a regular camera treatment, and then one very silhouette-like, and then one kind of color. And then he's got me surrounding. I don't know how he did it. He's got me. I mean, all 3 of me are in there surrounding Laura,
fading in and out.
Yeah, he's cutting in and out of all these different treatments, and it worked really well.
It was a good idea.
And it's just us playing the song.
Pretty simple.
Yeah. So it's going to be out in just a couple of weeks.
Cool. So who's the director on this?
The director is David Dutton, Dutton Films. He actually did he did our second video off the last record. He did the animation video for Devil Road, because that was when we were in full-on lockdown and nobody was making videos on site. So, and he's done a ton of animation videos. So we approached him and said, "Hey, you want to do an animation video for us?" And he did, and it turned out great. And then we, had him do one for this record as well. And our photographer is going to shoot a video for us early October. We're going to do one for the song called Even Song. And again, that was his choice. So should be interesting. He's a very improvisational type guy. Great photographer. He does a lot of food photography.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with food photography. Yeah.
Nice. He's done like 25 cookbooks, and the last cookbook he did was he won a James Beard Award. But he's very improvisational. And when we started planning for this next video, I was like, okay, well, is there going to be a script or this or that? He's like, no, I kind of vision, we'll be somewhere out in the desert, with the fire going as the sun, fades away, and we'll sort of see what happens. I'm like, great, Totally down for that.
Yeah, around the campfire says slowly fades away. I could, yeah, I could visualize that. So that's gonna be very nice.
Yeah, I mean, the song's a ballad, and there is this. It's the song sort of centers around um, the feelings that you get as the day is closing, and you're sitting around the campfire and singing with friends and pondering your life, and that kind of thing. So shooting out in the desert with a campfire, which you know, it's not the easiest thing to find a place to light a campfire in California these days.
Yeah, really. I mean, it's been so dry. Have you gotten any rain lately to balance that out?
Nope.
No,
I
not
mean,
really.
we were out of town for a week, but yeah, no, it's been pretty dry and pretty warm for San Francisco.
Scary.
Yeah,
Yeah, in northern too. Yeah, gosh. Oh, it breaks my heart to hear that.
I know.
Where are you located?
I'm in Atlanta still,
Ah,
and I thought it was going to be a really dry summer because we had one back in '07. It was really bad, and believe it or not, because we don't have very much of a lake here, so it can't really serve the area that well. So we were in a lot of trouble back then. Thought we were going to get that this year, and it's been regular rainfall. It's so humid. It's been like the rainforest this season.
Wow.
hmm. That's so not quite refreshing if you've got that humidity going.
Oh, it's terrible. I mean, I do running in the morning, and it's like I am soaked. You would thought that I was going through, sprinklers and stuff like that. I am just absolutely totally soaked. And it's like toast by 9 in the morning. You don't even want to go out there. It's really, really uncomfortable.
Ah,
Oh yeah. It's I don't know where we can go now. I mean, it's just the weather is uh, not great anywhere. We went up to Portland for about a week, and they're having these sweltering summers now, which is uncharacteristic for
It's
Portland.
true. The Northwest, Seattle to Portland and all there, they always had perfect weather. You're paying for that weather to be up that way. But yeah, I've heard it's
Right.
terrible now.
Yep. The summers are just really
although
rough.
like they keep on saying up there, it's like, oh, wait till fall. It'll rain nonstop for weeks and weeks. So
Hoping for a balance of some sort. So, would you like to perform some of or all of a song from this new release?
we've got one worked up.
Yeah, that sounds great. I just do a number here and get people into the groove here. And this is going to come out on Labor Day. Mighty Love. And which track would you like to do?
Want to do a
We're
sweet
gonna do
spot?
a song called "Sweet Spot." I just need to turn on Laura's reverb.
Thank you.
There we go.
I'm just a wandering soul, happy wherever I go. I'm here and I am there, I'm everywhere. On a farm, in a city, small town, or foreign country, waiting for the signal to settle down. Looking for my sweetheart, looking for my sweet spot. Looking for my sweetheart, looking for my sweet spot. Oh, I can see myself in Paris, champagne and crystal, or hanging in Montana on the range shooting pistols. Either one works for me, depends upon my mood. No matter where I am, looking for something new, looking for my sweetheart. I'm looking for my sweet spot. I'm looking for my sweetheart, looking for my sweet spot.
I just wanna be free. Free to listen, free to care, ready to share. In a world filled with doubt, just let me out. I want no part of tradition, ain't my ambition. I'm looking for my sweetheart. I'm looking for my sweet spot. I'm looking for my sweetheart. Looking for my sweet spot. Looking for my sweetheart. Looking for my sweet spot. Looking for my sweetheart.
Love it. I love it. I haven't had anybody perform in a long time for this. So that's I appreciate that quite a bit. Great song. So how long did this album take to put together start to finish recording?
Can you turn off the reverb?
Oh, yeah.
The reverb's still on.
Okay,
Perfect.
well, I would say probably close to a year. I think I recall we started, around January, February, and in between all the other things we were doing, it was a little bit of stop and start. We worked on it for a while, and then we did some did a live streams. We were working on that for a month or so. Then we went back to recording, and we kind of bounced back and forth between recording the album
And doing cooking and country.
and doing cooking and country. So yeah, it was a bit of a stop and start, but I think overall it took about a year, and it's so great because when you finally realize, oh, it's done, it's done. We got the final mixes and the mastering, and then of course, you're never quite sure exactly when it is. We had the final mastered version, and that's when I sent it around to the inner circle, and I said, can the vocals be a little bit louder? And everybody chimed in, yes, the vocals can always be a little bit louder. So back to the two mix engineers and said, all right, turn up the vocals. And that was the right decision. So it was, you just never know, all the way from the very beginning to the very end. It is truly a marathon. But
Without a doubt.
It feels great when it's done.
Oh, sure. Totally. Can we get physical copies of this? Is it CD? And do you have any vinyl?
No vinyl yet. There will be CDs available starting next week, I believe. So it's going to be, it's going to be everywhere. It's going to be on Spotify and Amazon and Pandora and Apple, and up on our website you can get the CD. So yes, it's going to be available to the public finally.
And Nashville, here they come. This is Labor Day, and you have a song called Labor Day. What are the origins of that one?
That one, well, my sister-in-law, who's quite witty and a longtime DJ on a public radio station up in Northern California, K-Mud. She does a blues show every Sunday night. And she was, she was in town, and we were hanging out in the kitchen, and she just, pulled off this one-liner like, "Oh, I was born on Labor Day, but I've been working ever since." I'm like, really? Immediately wrote it down. I wrote a song to it. Laura turned it down. And then about a year later, I went back to it because I actually had, I do a fair amount of reading. I'm always sort of looking for stories that really pique my curiosity, that you can kind of write a song about a particular event, yet it ties into current events. And Labor Day is that that type of a story. when the riots were going on, and the government was threatening to send in federal troops, and just a really contentious time. I came upon a story about the dock strikes in the 1930s, all up and down the West Coast, and they were violent. People got killed. The federal government sent in troops to support the ship owners. This is very on the waterfront. That's what
Wow.
that story is about. It echoes what you see in that movie. And to me, the interesting thing was just the overstepping of the boundary that the government did by using federal troops to strengthen the hand of greedy ship owners who did not want to treat the working class people correctly with proper wages and benefits and things like that. And the ship workers were of all types, religions, colors, etc.
Highly diverse.
Yeah, very diverse group of workers, and so it was all of them banding together to bring about some justice to their life. And the biggest strike was here in San Francisco, and people got killed during the protests. They were up in Seattle, I think down in Southern California as well. So the sort of funny tone of the hook, which my sister-in-law spun off, turned into a much more of a sobering type of song, just talking about people who are in the working class. They're working all their life.
Yeah, so it was inverted now. And when you brought that out and said, how about this? I was like, oh yeah, I'm all about this song. This is great. And I love it when you do something that's, I just read this great biography and, about Nat Love. And so, then you write a song about that. I love when you do that. So this was right in that vein.
Yeah,
for me.
I like finding a subject that I can sort of use it as a jumping off point to present, a point of view about, what I think might be right or wrong with certain events that are going on, and without being too heavy-handed, and and not trying to tell people what to do or what to think, but just trying to provoke thoughts and to point out things that I think are need to be corrected, need to be made better. So
Yeah, and you can do that through music. That's good.
yeah, I mean, these days, there's the one of the sort of ongoing headlines, of course, is well, the billionaires are getting richer and the working class are having a harder time, and which all very true. And I just and there's one line in the song that talks about the owners at the end of the first couple of verses about what makes a man so cruel. Like, how could those ship owners treat those people so badly?
Mhm.
And again, I mean, before the story and before the hook came to me, I was a big fan of the movie. I mean, Marlon Brando. I mean, it's a great cast. Marlon Brando and Carl
Yeah.
Malden and Rod Steiger is in it. Just a great cast and just a very thought-provoking movie.
Yeah, very, very good. Very deep. Definitely. Great production on this album. I totally recommend it. And I thank you so much for stopping by and letting us know and sharing your music.
Thank you so much, Robert.
Robert, yes, it was
We
great to
appreciate
hang
it.
out with you again.
Really fun.
Nice to see you. And let's stay in touch.
Absolutely. And best wishes. I hope to see you really become part of that Nashville community. I hope you could break through there because it's definitely top quality stuff.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Thank you.
Take
Hopefully we'll see
care.
you in Atlanta somewhere.
I hope you can play here one day. That would be just fantastic.
We
Yeah,
love it.
I'd love to.
Absolutely. Take care. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.